I guess we're about to be getting started with some more cooking sessions once in a while, so either way though, I just really can't help it about the fact that how glorious this particular water right here inside of my Odyssey as far as it'll go. So either way though, hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, I'm Mario here once again, and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Let's Play of Super Mario Odyssey for the Nintendo Switch. So, last time we did manage to able to fully conclude everything when it comes to Seaside Kingdom. Like, we got every single power moons on that kingdom, as well as some of these regional coins we found, and basically, well, we basically managed to able to actually gather every single part of it though. So, straight off the bat though, we did manage to get every single one of them. So, yeah, today for this episode is the fact that we're about to be heading back into the forms of the Luncheon Kingdom once again. But this time around though, much like always, we need to grab every single of those remaining power moons, as well as the final 3 of those regional coins that we have missed out ever since during the likes of the first time we've actually visiting this location. So even then though, or for the sake of this matter, for the sake of this entire kingdom. So even then though, we're about to get started for this point here. So either way though, nothing too else to think about, much to be said, things all things considered. Apart from the fact that, well, there's another hint art, and it's going to be takes place in Seaside Kingdom, which I'm about to be able to save that until later on though, because for now, we're about to do some more things here and there, such as like, for instance, for example, we need to go onto here, and before we try to activate the actual, another moon rock to begin with, that way we could able to actually do some more missions here and there. So we see that little glowing spot, then we get ourselves our first power moon for this video, and it's also the next power moon that we got from the Luncheon Kingdom to top it off. So even then though, that takes care of that. So, again, we did manage to collect some more power moons from the first time visiting this particular kingdom ever since, between the 2 parts of this though. Although before we continue things on, I've noticed there's Princess Peach and Tiara right here. So even then though, between the bright colors and the delicious smells, the place is a delight. Even there is a delicious as delicious can be. Yeah, exactly. But I accidentally bit into this power moon that it was hidden in a bowl of stew. You can have it. So yeah, once again, you get a power moon, and that's about it. So even then though, yeah, not much else to say. So that castle could be a good opportunity to finally go there of my own, free will. So this means about the fact that the next hint that she's trying to say, that the next destination we're about to be seeing her, it was on Bowser's Kingdom. So even then though, despite the fact that she's already technically been there before, but she's been kidnapped by the forms of course, Bowser himself. So even then though, that's as far as I can go. Island of Salt floating in the, well, I would say by the forms of the lava section there. So in this case, in the lava. So even then though, we'll go ahead and use one of those Plottaboo bubbles, so that we can able to traverse for the actual lava once again, and we could able to activate the another moon rock here. So even then though, we could able to actually just come across into another set of challenges around here. So even then though, that way we can do some more missions here and there. So, few things I want to explain about this actually is the fact that recently today is the forms of today's day is the 20th of August. So this means that, well, not only do we able to get ourselves yesterday from the likes of 19th of August yesterday, that we did manage to able to get ourselves another Nintendo Direct kind of type. Well, it's more accurately the ND Showcase or ND Direct once again. So even then, I'll get to my huge criticism about this, which I'm also able to actually point things out right away. Although, luckily for us though, is the fact that we've already just almost nearly towards that specific point where, and I accidentally got my bad jump right there, so we'll try that again. So anyway, the fact of the matter is though, is that we pretty much almost there to September at this point, so at least even then though, it doesn't feel nearly as long as it used to be. So even then, at least we are pretty much guaranteed we can able to actually see how this will go. And especially noticeable how the fact that, well, you know how it is. So even then, though, if we jump off here, then we get ourselves flying over the lava islands. So as far as the name of this mission. And now we need to able to once again utilize the actual lava bubble enemies, but because unfortunately though you can't able to actually just able to recover yourself if you manage to get burned by the actual lava several times, because other than the fact that well you'll be temporarily get burned a lot of times, and especially noticeable. Whoa, that was really close. In fact, the matter is though, is that for what I've seen the actual there's a YouTube video called top 5 hardest captureless power moons in the entire game, which basically what that means is that basically you would able to actually guarantee you would able to actually gather some of these power moons without using the capture system, because either way though, that this is one of those missions I feel like, well I've seen some other videos like this, but even then though, that's besides the point. So treasures of the lava islands for that particular name of that particular mission. So either way though, we're able to actually consider just manage to able to conclude that. So again, not much else to really say about this apart from the fact that, well, you know what, I said this before, and especially noticeable how the fact that I believe Duffy sort of mentioned about this during his Let's Play of Donkey Kong Country recently for the Super Nintendo that he's now managed to doing for that particular stuff now. The fact of the matter is though, is the fact that, you know, recently we got ourselves the ND World Direct, which did happen during the likes of it yesterday, and for what I've seen it, well, I'm probably not going to mention about this too much until whenever we, you know, get to this point where Duffy might get back into, you know, Donkey Kong Country until, tomorrow, as well as the forms of, I was about to be returning back into this, though, until on this Thursday, so even then, though. However, though, there's one little thing I just want to point out right away. After we're able to actually conclude everything when it comes to, like, the Moon Kingdom and stuff, I'm also able to actually take a break from this for a little while, so that way we could able to actually hit back to this at some point in September, much like in Super Mario Galaxy 2, so even then I'm also able to actually do that. So either way though, because we just want to get these, between these duologies of those 3D Mario games Let's Play wise, we need to get those done before when the next 3D Mario game will be announced, or especially noticeable when we're able to actually just, you know, do Super Mario Sunshine remake Let's Play or the redo Let's Play at some point next year. So even then though, it might be a little bit of an opportunity that we can able to do that kind of stuff. So even then though, yeah, but that being said though, today, about the fact that Gamescom 2019 is now being hosting today, so even then though, I'm really looking forward to able to see what some new gameplay footage they're able to show off, most notably with Luigi's Mansion 3, as well as the Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening remake, and especially noticeable with Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, and I think that's about it, obviously, when it comes to some of these titles I can think of, and also at the same time, Witcher 3, as well as Dragon Quest 11S, which is the forms of the definitive edition of that particular title. So either way, though, that's not much else to really discuss upon. So even then, though, yeah, we're about to go ahead and just deal with this next mission around here, which usually revolves around in this particular, you know, that moving platform and all that stuff, while at the same time we need to avoid a lot of those lavas, as you can see, or to be more accurate, they pink lava of any sorts, which either way though, basically in the actual Power Moon mission, as you can see, I'm actually going to be going after, is the fact that we need to activate all kinds of cloud platforms. But sometimes I will admit though right away is that my depth perception is going a little bit hiccupy than anything else for this part, because, well, I have to directly line up for myself, so that way I could able to actually activate those clouds just to begin with. So even then though, that might be the only technical error I managed to come across, but even then though, hopefully we can able to do it for a second attempt or two. So even then though, everything else to be expected. So the only thing I'm really hoping for, especially noticeable with the, well, we obviously already know about the actual release dates for, you know, Link's Awakening remake, as well as the forms of Luigi's Mansion 3, that those are about to due out. Well, specifically, the Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening remake will be on still in September the 20th, as well as the forms of Luigi's Mansion 3 will be released on exactly the Halloween day. But the only thing I'm unsure of is the forms of the final release date for, specifically for Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, which it did previously stated about the fact that it should be released until November. So even then, because, you know, due to some kids out there who really desperately want that game for the Christmas gift or something, you know, just like how it did on the original Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, as well as, you know, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games, and especially noticeable with, although specifically the Wii version of Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games back in 2007, and then Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games for both on the Wii and the DS, and also Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games on the Wii, not on the 3DS though, because the ones on the DS and the 3DS, between the original game as well as the London 2012 one, they did manage to came out a year later, just for the sake of the forms of like, you know, just trying to work out for any single DS functionalities, especially with the 3DS's, you know, functionalities and all that stuff. So even then, that's besides the point. And also Mario and Sonic at the Sochi 2014 Olympic Winter Games from the Wii U, from the likes of in November 2013. And the only game exception, though, is of course Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games, because, you know, both on the 3DS and one on the Wii U, they actually came out on exactly the same year as in 2016. But despite the fact that the actual, like, you know, it's very similar to the forms of how it does in on, you know, with the Super Smash Bros. 4 release date system, they did manage to release the 3DS version first, and then the Wii U version afterwards. So even though it's a little bit more of some sort of a coincidence anyway when it comes to release dates in mind. So even then, yeah. So the next missions, as you can see right here, is the fact that we need to light every single of those lanterns, as you can see here. So that way we could able to get ourselves, once again, 2 of those power moons each. So even then, for instance, we got ourselves one for, you know, lanterns on the gear steps, as well as another one for stepping over the gears. So, well, stepping over the gears is the normal mission on that particular section. So even then, I'm pretty sure enough that we're pretty much exactly done with every single of those Moonrock pipes challenges for this point right now. So even then, now we need to find a whole bunch of more of them. So even then, that hopefully we're able to actually get these done before, you know, we move on to the next kingdom after this, which will have to be by the forms of Bowser's Kingdom up next. So in fact, we're actually getting quite close with when it comes to like you know, completing one of those Moonrock challenges and all that stuff, because I believe it's now down to, like, well, we've already activated one for this specific kingdom as of now, but the ones we're gonna get into next is, of course, Bowser's Kingdom, of course, and especially noticeable with the Moon Kingdom. Well, at least I say that is because, well, we're basically almost done with the actual Moonrock challenges to begin with, but as far as Mushroom Kingdom is concerned, as well as the forms of the Dark Side and the Darker Side, we'll basically come across into the forms of some self-explanatory missions. Well, I say some of them, but even then I will not mention about that whenever we get to the forms of the later portions of the actual, like, the kingdoms themselves anytime soon. So even then, from now on though, we'll just have to mainly focusing on Luncheon Kingdom as it is. So even then, we'll consider this the main factor around here. So aside from everything else though, there's not much else to really say about this point, I'm afraid, guys, apart from the fact that, well, I don't suppose I've ever mentioned about this, but I'm pretty sure I did. The fact of the matter is, though, is the fact that the actual Minecraft Super Duper Pack is officially cancelled on the Switch, which I'm pretty sad to say about that particular kind of stuff. Well, usually I'm not usually a hardcore, you know, Minecraft player or anything like that, because, well, I did manage to try it out before on my PlayStation 4 and stuff, but I never seemed to able to actually get so much more appealing to the audience. Well, sure that game is basically now 10 years old from the likes of the original PC or something, so even then though, same applies by the forms of the Angry Birds series, not to mention all that stuff. So either way though, we'll just able to actually just get on with the actual race. So yeah, aside from everything else though, that we are basically almost nearly towards the end of August already, as I said this before, but then after that though, we are basically down to September, October, November, and December, and we basically almost gonna conclude 2019 before we move on to the next big year for the likes of everything else for this recitable, and that will have to be by the forms of 2020. To be more specifically for the celebration for the next Summer Olympics, as well as the leap year for that. So likely for you know, we're getting ourselves the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games in during Summer Olympics in Japan. So even then, I'm really looking forward to that specific stuff. So, but anywho though, so as you can see, we managed able to accomplish the actual Koopa free running race challenge right around here. In fact, we still need to do it twice to able to actually get ourselves both of those power moons throughout. So even then though, we could able to once again pull off some slight significance of shortcuts or what have you, but even then though, it's not that long to begin with as far as the actual track layout as far as I'm aware. So even then, now let's go ahead and do this for a second time, and hopefully we could able to... Oh, that was really terrible around here. Oh, no. Ah, that was really awful start. In fact, because I don't think my jump reaction things itself right there, it just doesn't seem to able to actually, you know, react to in time. So let's try this again. I don't know which one might be the hardest one of the bunch when it comes to the forms of Koopa free running kinds of missions like this, but it might be pretty easy though, but at least if you manage to know what you're doing, especially if you're first time playing for this particular races like this, then you would be okay for the most part though. It's just that, well, sometimes it might take you a lot of practice on these kinds of things sometimes, but even then, as long as you're able to actually utilize the Cappy long jump system, and I keep on getting hit by the exact same hazard all over again. Oh jeez. Maybe I'm just a little bit too hasty and stuff, but either way though, let's just go ahead and capture the actual Blooded Boot, you know, fireball to begin with, and take a massive shortcut for that little ground pound, and we will basically conclude the Luncheon Kingdom's, you know, Koopa free running races. And in fact, I got a new record for that part, so that's pretty cool. So even then, I think we're now down to likely 3 more of those you know, Koopa free running challenges for this point right now. So even then, the next one we have to able to come across into these again, it was on, you know, Bowser's Kingdom will be up next. And after that, it will be the Moon Kingdom, and after that, we'll do the final one, which is actually on the actual Mushroom Kingdom itself. So, but then again, we're not going to come across into those anytime soon, but until when it gets to the point until the, well, I would say next Thursday, especially, well, in this case, this Thursday, mind you, as well as the forms of, you know, the majority of the weekend for specifically Saturday and Sunday for, you know, to conclude the main ones out of the way. So even then, but then again, until when it gets to the point until likely for, specifically for this weekend, after we're done with these, uploads as far as I'm aware, I'm mostly gonna have to take a break for this for a while, so that way we could able to return back to this, though, and during at exactly the same month as the forms of how it does it in, like, going back into Super Mario Galaxy 2, so that way we could able to actually conclude those two in just about enough time for doing so, but it's all really depending on that, really, because of, aside from able to actually add in some extra stuff in here and there, so that's as far as I can mostly concern about this particular stuff around here, so anyways though, the next mission, as you can see right there, we need to return back into the forms of the actual, like, the big cooking bowl at the very top of the actual volcano, so that way we can able to grab, once again, those musical notes. However though, it's going to be a little bit tricky this time around though, because you know with the actual food keeps on getting your way, this means we need to able to get rid of some of those whenever you're trying to able to actually get every single musical note. So, and once you're done with all that, then the Power Moon will be once again yours. So even then, let's go ahead and obtain that. If we manage to able to get a little bit of a jump angle for that point right there, which we did manage to able to accomplish that. But we're not exactly done with this yet though, because, and it looks like I'm going to miss that. So even then, I might as well able to come back for that later. So, anywho though, and I'm sorry if I just managed to accidentally hit the actual microphone with my lips, so I do apologize for that. So, yeah, because we're not exactly done with the actual big pod section anytime soon, because otherwise, there's also another mission I just want to point out, which we do need to able to deal with the massive diving section for this point. But before we get into that, however, though, we'll deal with the rest of the actual the remaining missions we're about to be doing, specifically for the Moonrock challenges here and there, so even then we might as well able to do that first. So let's go and grab pounds this marking here, so that way we're able to get ourselves our next Power Moon from a crack in a hard ground. That's as far as the actual name of this mission, and why did I just do that? Anyway, I have no idea why I just accidentally ground pound like that, so even then we'll take 2 hits as a result for that specific stuff for this matter, so anyways though, so I believe the next objective we need to do is that we need to utilize the well, specifically the fire bro, as you can see right there, but most of the time though, I have no idea why I just managed to able to accidentally kill these guys to begin with, although what you're meant to do here is the fact that, well, in order to actually just manage to able to make the fire bros a little bit more capture, it's the fact that you do need to able to realize that you would able to actually not to let them jump, because if you do let them jump, well, you're probably able to actually accidentally kill them instantly, so you always have to recommend whenever they're trying to able to stand completely still, and especially noticeable likely whenever they just manage to step onto the ground, basically you weren't able to have the ability to able to actually capture the actual hammer bros, or even fire bros to top it off, or even sheriff bros. So even then, that's as far as I can usually like describe it as such. So even then though, I believe we only got about a few more missions to go before you're able to conclude every single part of the Luncheon Kingdom at this point. So even then, hopefully we can able to get these done as possible. So I believe the next power moon, it should be, well, not necessarily down there, because we've already obtained that power moon to begin with. So I'm guessing it should be higher up on that particular you know, for that wall over there, which I think, I'm actually going to come back for that later, because I think we'll, go ahead and use the fire bro, so that we can able to actually capture him, and then that way we could able to do with the next mission, and, I just made that one tiny bit of a mistake around here, which I will admit that right away, that was my accidental, so, oh well, I guess we should probably try this again, shall we? So, anyway, so this particular mission, as you can tell, that, I think it was somewhat underneath on that specific section, just about, I would classify for going down right here. I don't know, we'll give it a go. Oh, wow, that was a very lucky call right there. But, of course, I'm also able to get burned, like, you know, 3 times, just like always. But even then, I will, leave it up to that, because, well, then again, you don't need to worry about extra lives or anything like that. So even then, that's as far as I can go. So anyways though, I think we actually managed to conclude every single of those moon rock challenges for now, because all we need to do now is the fact that we need to do some regular missions now. So even then though, everything else will not be so much more complicated or anything like that. Well, up until later on though anyway though, that way we could able to actually just classify for, you know, just trying to do some more things here and there. So yeah, we'll try the actual fire bro, you know, mission for the second time. But of course, since I keep on screwing over most of the time, because the only thing you need to keep this in mind is the fact that you have to do some sort of like a rhythm thing, kind of going thing for that specific hammer bro like this. But otherwise though, if you manage to get the hang of it though, you will be alright. But most of the time though, then yeah, it looks like I don't think I managed to able to reach high enough for that specific route around here. So I guess there's might be another way to do that, but it might be pretty unreachable, I don't think. So even then, I will take care of these spinies as this. So even then, we could able to actually just actually, no matter what though, I think we should probably use the sheriff, you know, the sheriff hammer bro, or the sheriff hammer bro right there. So that way we can able to take care of. Oh, there's one regional coin just right there. In fact, I'm actually going to be able to go back after this, after we're able to actually focusing on one mission from now on. So even then, I will take care of this. And once you light this particular lantern right here, then you weren't able to actually guarantee you get yourselves another power moon here. So even then, that hopefully we can able to grab that. So even then, I will grab pound here, and you know, we'll grab this as soon as we can. So even then, there we go. The rooftop lantern, which is the name of this mission. And of course, I'm about to be heading back onto this way, because I soon to discover there are one of those regional coins I accidentally missed. So even then though, that we're able to actually grab those as soon as we can. So even then though, that we need to use the Sheriff Hammer Bro. And there's actually 2 over there, but we are off by 1 left, so I wonder where that could be. I'm hoping it won't be well out of place or anything like that. So even then though, it looks like I get a strong feeling it might be in... Oh, there it is right here. So naturally, we've got every single of those regional coins now in the Luncheon Kingdom at this point. So we are essentially done with those regional coins grinding specifically for this kingdom itself. So before we do some more missions here and there, let me just go ahead and buy you know, the final item for this particular kingdom, and now it will be of course the next hat, which is specifically the artist hat. So well, honestly, I'm probably not going to change into that just yet, though, until at some point in the future. So even then, I will save that for a later time. But for now on, though, we'll go ahead and mainly focusing on some other things from now on. Specifically for, you know, what else? Some more missions to tackle through. So even then, we'll go for these one by one. So even then, I believe the next mission we're going to be hit into, well, I don't know saying that much to be honest with you, but actually, let me just go ahead and find some specific location to likely, you know, just get to that specific point. But first of all, let me just double check around, and we'll hop onto that little cannon over there. I think what I'm going to do here is the fact that I'm actually going to be able to send these power moons to the likes of, well, I won't say do that just yet though, because I'm actually going to be focusing on, no matter what though, it's kind of hard to explain about this specific situation sometimes. Well, don't worry though, whenever we get to Bowser's Kingdom as well as the forms of the Moon Kingdom and such, then we can able to talk more things to discuss. Especially notable with the ND Worlds, which it already did happen during the likes of it yesterday, as I said before, as well as the forms of the Gamescom 2019, which we will recently going to happen during today. Especially notable until the future days and onwards. So let's see how much power moons we actually gathered, and we got over about 700 of those power moons now. So even then, though, to be more specifically, 719. So even then, we'll head back to the Seaside Kingdom for, I would say this is actually the final time we're going to be exploring this particular kingdom for reals. Well, not until forever though, because there's going to be some extra side of things until later down the road for the sake of this Let's Play. So even then though, we're about to hit back there again, and we need to find out, you know, with that hint art I just managed to able to capture the actual button for? Well, we do need to able to find that specific location that is somewhere in the actual underneath the, or under the sea or something. So even then, hopefully we could able to find things from here. So even then, we could able to actually expect that. So anyway, so I think the fastest way for able to travel for this particular stuff is, of course, use the one of those little sea-like enemies, like for specifically this particular enemy, like, you know, like spewing out water again. As well as from that though, we do need to be able to utilize the Cheep Cheep in case if you want to survive underwater at all times. Although the only thing is though, is the fact that, well, we do need to find that specific spot of where the actual hint art is actually going to be at. So sometimes I will admit though right away is that finding these hint arts can be a little bit tricky to spot, because they more most of the other environments and all that stuff might share the exact same palettes or something like that, but most of the time though, if you really want to hunt for something like more accurately the most important collectible in the game, which is of course the power moons themselves, then sometimes it can be pretty confusing to find sometimes. So it's definitely not around here, so even then I will go ahead and capture that particular Cheep Cheep over there, so that way we could able to actually see what's you know, well hidden for that specific power moon, as you can tell. So even then, I think it's not down there though, so it's definitely not that. So I guess I'll just have to do a jump code around here. Okay, I did recently did a jump code for this point, because it looks like it's gonna be somewhere around here. So even then, if you see for that little highest height for that particular platform over there, then you would get yourselves a power moon. So even then, that takes care of that. Now let's walk back to the forms of the Odyssey itself, and hopefully we can able to actually hit back to the Luncheon Kingdom to, what else? Just to finish up the actual rest of the kingdom itself. So even then, we'll insert one, which actually leads us now to 720 of those power moons, which is ridiculously amounts of that specific stuff, as you can tell. So even then, we're actually doing pretty good actually. So even then, we're able to actually just to classify for able to realize that some of these missions now and then, well, some of them might actually take a little bit quicker time to able to actually finish one of them. But most of the time though, if you really want to get things done and finished and during time, well, basically you would able to actually consider about the actual main factor about that. So anyway, so let's see what's up next, shall we? I will classify for going through that particular island over there, specifically for the next mission we'd like to able to go through, and that was the fact that, you know, with that little actually, let me just go ahead and warp through here first, so that we can able to take care of some of those self-explanatory ones until at some form or another. Then we could able to actually just to deal with the last remaining ones and do it at some point. So So of course the next mission we need to hit into is to go down here, and if you see the actual glowing spots, well, not just around here, because otherwise there's nothing around here, but if we look carefully enough, specifically I see one on the edge around here, so... But then again, you need to be very careful on that specific stuff, and I got very lucky around here, because, well, if I accidentally got knocked back by that specific rock, section, especially noticeable if I managed to accidentally fell into the lava we go, basically I would able to actually get instant death by specifically getting hit by the lava several times. So anyways though, so let's go and hit it back up to the actual top of the actual peak itself, because, or in this case for this section around here, because there's another timer challenge just around over there. So even then we were able to actually take care of that first, well in this case take care of this one next. And I think this is very simple, because basically we need to just, you know, use the ground pound to do a nice little jump afterwards, and then boom, the actual mission is done. So Luncheon Kingdom Timer Challenge 3. So yeah, that takes care of that. And looks like we've already got about quite a few missions to go for this point. I don't know exactly how much, to be more specifically than that, but let's go on to that particular island over there, so that we need to take care of this particular thing itself first. So even then though, you know that particular section we've already technically did, specifically for that 2D section? Well, we need to basically, now we need to ground pound these little markings, as you can see, all these little cracks, so that way if you take care of all of these, then basically you get yourselves another power moon basically. So even then if you manage able to know all of them are, then sure enough the power moon itself will be yours. So even then that way you could able to actually complete those during time. So even then we'll just go ahead and grab the actual power moon itself like this. So even then all the cracks are fixed. So even then because you know we need to be able to take care of these. So I believe the next mission we're going to be hitting to is that we need to hit back onto the meat Plowitio section around here. So we could able to actually find, let's just go back over there, and you know, it's going to be a lot of emphasis on exploration, if you can tell. So even then, okay, so you're going to be seeing me exploring around the actual environment itself like nothing else. So, anyways, I believe the next mission we need to hit into is that we do need to be able to use the Hammerbro Sheriff once again. But this time around, though, we need to take him all the way back to the very beginning, almost right near to the Odyssey itself. So that way you could able to utilize... you know, with that little cheese rocks that we've already come across into since the very beginning? Well, we do need to able to actually use them, specifically just trying to take him all the way back to the very beginning, so that way you could able to actually just smash the rest of the actual cheese rocks, specifically on that section towards over there, as you can see there. But, you know, you have to be very careful, much like the forms of how it does on that Firebird missions like this. So even then, we'll take care of everything else for this part. And when you've done so already, then obviously the power moon itself will be yours. Now of course, if you manage able to capture one of those enemies, Luigi is still scared of these, so I'm guessing it's because, well, he's no longer going to be part of the playable character debuts from the 3D Mario games anymore though, which is kind of a shame, because since, you know, Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2, as well as the forms of Super Mario 3D Land and 3D World, and even especially noticeable in Super Mario 64 DS, at least Luigi can able to deal with these enemies no problem. But unfortunately though, for Mario Odyssey though, he's now part of the actual side activities and stuff like that, which, you know, back in 2018, I was a little bit anxious and disappointed at the same time, but for what I think about it, whenever I managed able to look upon, the actual balloon minigame challenges and all that stuff, I found it was actually pretty fun as a mode. But even then, we'll mention more on that whenever we get to that specific side mode. And during at some point in, I would say November or something like that for that time. But even then, it's a little bit too early to predict at this point right now. So even then, let's go down here, and I just got burnt again. And we're able to actually enter this door here. So that way we could able to find ourselves a glorious treasure chest. So we can able to once again get ourselves another power moon, the treasure chest in the veggies. So, because you know, there are all kinds of vegetables in here. So yeah, it's pretty delicious actually. Alright, I did another jump cut around here because I need to able to figure out the final few missions we'd like to take care of. So even then, the next mission we need to hit into is that, well, we do need to able to transport back into the forms of, well, this section in particular, because we need to able to utilize the the Bubbles Plutterboo once again, so we can able to actually use him for specifically the last mission we need to utilize for him until the very end of specifically from the likes of the final world in the game. So even then, we do need to use him. And it's going to be a leap of faith around here, because if you manage to time your jump at the wrong time, then basically we do need to able to actually realize that we do need to able to aim it on that specific big part just about down there. So even then, definitely a little bit trickier, but either way though, let's go ahead and find this particular hat, as you can see right there. So even though the one that has eyes on them, and just like in any single of those hats and seek kinds of missions, then basically when you find him, then you would able to actually conclude that particular mission. So now I believe we are basically almost done for this point, folks. Well, until for the fact that we need to change into a different suit. So that way we need to able to dress up as mechanical now. So even then we're dressed up as mechanical suit. So that way we can able to take care of another one of those missions. So even then at least we're able to actually just do that. So either way though, we'll just able to actually use this. So even then that way we could able to, you know, conclude this basically. So even then we're able to actually take care of this particular stuff out of the way. So even then we're able to accept that. So yeah, aside from everything else though, there's not much else to really say about this, I'm afraid guys. It's just that I'm pretty excited about the forms of the Gamescom 2019 so far for today. But then again, until whenever we get back into this though, specifically until on this first day, whenever I get back to more on this, then I'm able to actually discuss upon more details on that specific point. So anyways though, that takes care of that particular mission. So basically you have to usually wear the mechanical suit, and that's about it basically for that mission, as you can see. And now we need to take care of the final mission in Luncheon Kingdom, and that will have to be by the forms of the second attempt for specifically trying to able to dive onto that specific cooking parts for the second attempt. So but then again, you need to keep on work with the actual camera angle around here, because if you manage to time your jump as well as like maneuvering the camera and all that stuff, then you would able to dive onto another part, as you can see there. Then the actual final Power Moon in the Luncheon Kingdom will be entirely in your collection. So there we go, diving from the big parts. So even though I think that pretty much takes care of every single thing, every single parts of the Luncheon Kingdom now, including by the forms of the actual souvenirs we actually buy, as well as the forms of some everything else for this recitable. So yeah, we are basically done with the Luncheon Kingdom. So it's now down to the forms of you know, the next few kingdoms. So even then though, it looks like we've only got about, I would say, 5 more kingdoms to go. So those are specifically for Bowser's Kingdom, as well as the forms of the Moon Kingdom. And after that, we're able to actually go back to the Mushroom Kingdom to do some more missions on that particular kingdom as well. And aside from that though, we are able to actually focusing on the dark side, and especially notable for the darker side at the very end. So yeah, it's gonna be fun and interesting at the same time, I will admit though right away. So even then, we'll, you know, just trying to able to actually go onto the Bowser's Kingdom. So there's no need to able to actually get into the actual Ruined Kingdom, because we obviously managed to able to, you know, conclude the shorter kingdom, specifically for the Cloud Kingdom, as well as the forms of the Ruined Kingdom on that particular one video alone, if you remember from the forms of about a couple of months ago. So even then though, now we need to return back to the Bowser's Castle for the second time, I think that's where it's at. And that way we can able to actually deal with what else, some more missions, as well as finding the last few regional coins. I think we're off by 20 of these, I believe. So even then, we are basically just managed able to see of how much stuff we can able to get. So but anyway though, before we end things off at this point right there, we're able to actually change the different costume or what have you. So even then, we're about to get this thing to it. So even then though, that we would able to change into this particular suit, as well as any kind of hats around here, likely so much as this one. Although I don't know exactly to be more exactly than ever, but because the actual audience doesn't seem to clap at it at all, so at least even then we need to find the exact hat that we need to able to actually just to wear that. So at least even then we could able to accept that. So what about just the normal hat will do for Mario, so that we can able to make it a little bit fitting or something, although it might not likely. So even then yeah, it looks like it's not going to fit in. So even then what I'm going to do is that I'm gonna have to do the exactly same method as I normally do it from the first time visiting this kingdom, is that I'm gonna have to be able to utilize the samurai suit on, so even then, or the actual samurai armor on, so even then, just to make it a little bit more Chinese themed and stuff. So even then, because, you know, this inspires the Chinese palace and stuff, which is pretty cool though. So anyways, we're going to end things off at this point right here, so join me next time on Let's Play Super Mario Odyssey. Here's the fact that we're about to be returning back into Bowser's Kingdom and do some more Power Moon challenges, as well as finding the last 20 of those regional coins. So see you guys then. Later, fellas.